Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my garden on another glorious spring day. And I know if you follow my channel watching from Central Europe or the UK that you are experiencing just the same magnificent spring weather that I have here. I just called my dad last night and he told me that they had 20 degrees Celsius in Düsseldorf. This is where he lives in Western Germany, which is crazy high for this time of the year. But he said it was so wonderful. He was out for a very long walk just along the river and then enjoyed himself in the afternoon on the balcony. So I'm very happy for him. But I'm also happy that the weather is so nice because then I can take you out with me in the garden, obviously, and spend another glorious garden day with you in my video today. What I want to do is plant a little bit. And speaking of planting, I'm standing here in the area of a garden shed. So you know, in one of my previous videos, we just potted up some beautiful spring plants here. And I'm so enjoying this look. Like I had breakfast this morning, first time of the year on the terrace, and I have a straight view just onto all of these wonderful pots here. And obviously, since they are next to the garden shed, I just pass by this area multiple times a day. Just walk in the garden shed, grab something, walk out, in and out. So I see this every single time and I'm happy about it. So this was a very good project. What I want to do today is plant something in the back of the garden with you. So you know that I've been working a lot with you in the back of the garden. Recently, we spent a lot of time at the new herbaceous border where I removed the turf together with you, put the stone edges in, and what I already started yesterday is I started taking the mole net out. That is still sitting and waiting for me under the soil, and it's hell a lot of work, trust me. I kind of underestimated it again. And I think I made it halfway through the border. I would say I'm going to show you in a second how it works. But it needs to come out because it is, I don't want to have the plastic thing in there. Like I really want to be free when I work in there and want to dig big holes and not have like, pieces of plastic meshing flying around in the border. So I'm just really happy to take it out completely now. I want to improve the soil, want to mulch the area, going to talk you through everything and then plant a beautiful little evergreen that sits there. So if you follow my channel, you know what it is. And if you don't follow my channel, well, you'll be excited about what I'm going to show you in a second. And then towards the end of the video, I want to take you with me to the back of the garden on the slope and plant a shrub there because I ordered 4 different shrubs online. And the first is bound to go into the ground today as well. So I hope that you are excited about today's video and spending the day with me in the garden. My garden assistant is already waiting for me to start finally, and this is the area where I'm taking you today, where I want to work with you. So to my left, there is I still say the new herbaceous border, perennial border. I think this is always going to be the new perennial border, even though it's a year old by now. This is the end of the garden, and there's a pear tree here flanking the right side of the new herbaceous border that we pruned together. Very happy about that pruning job. And you can tell I've already started working in here. So I've made my way through that area up until where the spade is. So the entire right side is already a little bit prepared. At least there's no more mole mesh in there, and that is brilliant. So what I did already, I came in with some fresh garden soil, dug it under, some starting fertilizer, and then I mulched it as well. And I have more soil waiting here. So I've got 10 bags of fresh garden soil. Then I've got 1 bag specifically for evergreens because I'm going to plant that yew sphere with you. And then 7 bags of mulch. I don't have enough mulch, honestly. I really need to buy more, but that can wait for another day. And here's the yew sphere, as I said. I saw it in the garden center and I thought, oh, this is going to be pricey. I checked the price tag and it was literally 70 euros. And I thought, this is ridiculous if I'm not going to take it. That is the best bargain in quite a good while. And I'm so happy about it. I'm loving it. Can't wait for it to be in the ground. And I think it is a nice size, but obviously I think I'm going to let it grow a little bigger because I think towards the end of the garden that will be just a wonderful like winter structure and just a really nice focal point as well. So as I said, I made it all the way up until where the garden fork and the spade is. So I think I made more than half of it already, to be fair. And what I did, you can tell already here, I came in with a spade, pushed it into the soil up until I could feel that I hit that blue meshing for the mole or against the mole. You see it here. So I have these long stripes basically. And then I come in with a garden fork and can lift it. And this is what I find in there. It's kind of like a little treasure hunt, but I know what the treasure is. And you can tell it's kind of like clumps here. So this is the soil with a lot of roots still from, well, weeds and lawn and whatever was growing in here. So I just need to shake it, make sure that I keep as much soil as possible in here, and then work my way through basically. And this is the first thing that I'm going to do. Really try to make sure that the entire mesh has gone by today. Then I come in with a fresh soil, try and just distribute it evenly, work it in, fertilize it, and then comes the fun part towards the end of the video, planting. I'm so excited. Look what I found in today's treasure hunt, like this one here. Little hand, probably Chinese pattern. I predict Ming Dynasty or something. I should really start digging for the rest of it. This one is quite cute actually, with a little blue and white floral theme going on. That was a bowl, I think, just looking at the shape. Sad I didn't find the entire thing. Really gonna keep those now, because this is the first time I really found like nice ones when I'm digging here. Do you also find stuff like this when you're digging in your garden? I suppose you do. And I want to show you as well the difference in the soil structure now. So on the right, clearly, this is the soil that I've improved. So I came in with bags and bags of fresh garden soil. And on the left, this is our natural soil here. So it is looking quite great. It's not bad though. It is like definitely a nice fertile soil, but it's very sandy, it has a lot of drainage. So I really like to come in when I start a new border and improve the soil. So what I want to do now is obviously talk you through a little bit of what I did so far. Before I plant the yew, I just quickly want to tell exactly what I did here. You could tell I really spent quite some hours in here actually. We're already like in the early afternoon by now. So I really managed to get all of the mold mesh out, which is amazing. So the entire area is kind of like ready. I had enough soil to kind of like prepare probably half, a little more than half of the area, I would say. What I did then is just like I distributed the soil quite evenly, and then I came in with the organic bone chips that I always use. They break down to nitrogen, and this is quite good for most of the grasses and perennials. So it is like a nice, good time long and organic fertilizer for whatever you're planting. Then I came in with this little garden tool here and make sure that I really work the entire soil in well and mix it with our native soil, so it does not sit just idle on top of it. I really want to mix it and make sure that I improve the entire soil structure as well. And by doing that, I also make sure that I see are there any roots in there, because we have a perennial grass in here that can be quite aggressive. And this is a good way for me just like to really work my way through and make sure that I get all of those roots out that I do not want to have in here. I also had like 7 bags of mulch, if I'm right, so I already put those 7 bags here, and it really now starts feeling like a proper nice border, almost ready for planting. Obviously what I'm going to do tonight is go to the garden center and just buy the last bags of soil and mulch that I need, so I could just prepare the area. But before that happens, I want to plant the little beauty here, and little is quite ironic because just moving it from here over there, I was like, how on earth am I ever going to get it out of its pot? So this is interesting. Before I plant the yew, I just want to give you a couple of key facts and information about yew, and I could maybe excite you on growing yew in your own garden as well. If you look at a lot of the great British gardens where they have amazing topiary, chances are they are made of yew most likely. And the reason for it is yew responds extremely well to pruning. I could literally come in here and cut it back to its bare stems, and chances are it will thrive again. I've seen it already in some parks where they've really gone in there and cut it back hard, and it responds very vigorous, which is a lovely thing about you. Completely other to arborvitae, for example, because if you trim back arborvitae too hard into the dead brown wood, it's not going to grow back. So this is really one of the big advantages of you. Another one is the entire story when it comes down to pest. I grow a lot of boxwoods here in the garden, and so far I had none of the disease. There is no box blight, there is no caterpillar, but I heard from other gardeners here in the area. They're gardening not so close to the Baltic Sea though, so maybe there is a difference that they had the caterpillar already. So I am very conscious about this situation, and I knew I wanted to have a nice evergreen here, and I love to grow spheres. So obviously I thought about boxwood first, but then I thought, okay, is it really a smart idea? And then I saw this beauty in the garden centre for such an amazing good price, where I thought, you know what, don't introduce another boxwood to the garden. Better be safe than sorry in the end. And I love you. I grow you in different areas of the garden, and this is another great advantage of you, is that you can grow it almost in every single condition when you talk about soil or sun. I grow it just to your right. That is south facing. It's a very sandy area of the garden, and it thrives extremely well. That's so happy. Every single year it grows about 10 to 15 centimeters, I would say. I grow another yew just on the opposite side of the garden, where it is almost sitting in double shade, better soil for sure, and it thrives just as happily. So far, I only grow one variety of yew in the garden. It's called Hilly. And this one here is called, let me check again, Fireman. So let's see. I'm really excited on how this one is going to perform, because I know there are yews that change the color a little bit in winter apparently. But I bought this pretty much in winter and it's still green. So I'm very confident and happy that this is going to be nice. Right, Alfie? You think so as well? You will like the yew? Yeah, I think you will, right? Oh, you will. So come on, let's start planting the yew. That means that you need to go off my lap, unfortunately, now, even though you're nice and warm. The yew is planted, and as I predicted, it was very heavy and quite difficult to get it out of its container. And it came with another surprise. The entire root ball was wrapped in a burlap sack, and not just one, but two of them. And in theory, like, a burlap sack is made of natural fiber, so it should break down over time, so you should be able to plant it. But I don't really trust it. I'm happy if the roots can just grow outwards immediately wherever they want to. Nothing should restrain them. And I would always recommend you just like remove those stuff. You know, if you can, get it away, put some fresh soil around it. That's exactly what I did. I came in with an entire bag of special soil made for evergreens. I also came in with some hands full of the organic bone chips, trampled it in all very well so that there are no air pockets or anything. I still need to water it, but the water hose is not connected to the house yet, so I still need to do that and drag it all the way back here. I think I'm going to do it tonight probably, or latest tomorrow morning. What I want to do now, obviously, is flip the phone and show you how it looks. I think it looks really nice, because I was just quickly indoors and just looking from the terrace all the way to the back of the garden. There is a focal point now, and that is really nice. In the long run, I want that this yew sphere grows at least double the size to what it is right now. I think how it was in height when it was still in its container, that was perfect. Now it is cute, but it definitely can grow bigger. So I show you how it looks, and then I take you with me to the back of the garden, because obviously there's one more thing waiting to be planted today as well. What do you think? I feel this is a nice focal point and definitely nice winter interest. And once the yew has established and grows bigger in size, I think this will be just absolutely wonderful towards the back of the garden. What I want to show you quickly is whatever plant you put in the ground, any plant always has a front and a back and a side. And this one definitely had, because if we just look at it from the side, going down a little bit, you can see that on the right side it is quite bushy, and on the left it is not as bushy yet. I think it is still going to grow into a nice shape there as well, especially since it's going to get a lot of sun on that side. But clearly I want to put the bushier side towards the front. I might even come in with my secateurs and snip some of those branches on top off because it's not really round shape right now. I need to see. I'm not 100% sure if I'm really going to do it already or if I just wait for this growing season. What we're going to do now though is walk to the end of the garden. We're going to walk past Sleeping Beauty there. She's enjoying the sun. Ooh, look at that. But we're going to go onto the slope. Beautiful area, especially in the afternoon. It's kind of sun-filled throughout the entire day, but now it is the most glorious area of the garden. And this top area is where I want to plant as well. This is not going to be used for any vegetables. This is going to be used for beautiful things that make me happy when I'm working in the vegetable garden. And this is a shrub that sits here already for roughly 2 weeks, I think. And this is what I want to plant. It's called, okay, Calycanthus. I just know it as Calycanthus or the sweet shrub. And this is how the flowers look like. Aren't they beautiful? They come in pink and white, and certainly I got the pinkish one. Very excited to plant this one and introduce it to the garden. At this time of the day, this is honestly the best area in the garden because we're protected here with a hedge from this side and also kind of protected now with the raised beds here, and we're really sitting on the sun. It's beautiful. So in my back, this is south facing, and over there to your right, this is west facing. So you can tell it's a very sun-filled area, and this is exactly what this shrub likes. It really likes to thrive somewhere in full sun or even in partly shade. Should be all right. I first got to know this shrub when I was still living in Amsterdam. I would say probably 4 or 5 years ago. I found it in the garden centre, well, 4 years ago I would say, because I had a really nice apartment with quite a nice corner balcony, and I was also sitting in the sun throughout the entire day. And I bought this in the garden centre when it was in its flower stage, and obviously could see on the label those flowers are so special, kind of like water lilies in a way. Never seen it before, and I needed to have it, put it in a container, and it thrived really well in a container. Obviously, when it is growing in a container, it doesn't grow to its full potential size, and also it grows a little slower. I didn't mind it though. It made me very happy when I was living there. In theory, it's called sweet shrub, and it is supposed to smell like carnation and strawberries. I can't really attest to that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe my sense of scent is not really developed that well. It has an intriguing smell, like the flowers really have a sweet, nice aroma. I would not necessarily say strawberries or carnation, just nice and sweet. This is how I would describe it basically. It thrives with shallow roots. This is something you might need to consider because that also explains most of the time how the water conditions are. So it should not dry out completely. I mulch in all the areas in the garden, which is quite nice because then the moisture stays in the ground. And just preparing the hole here, the soil is really moist, and this is exactly what it likes. It shouldn't be like damp moist, but don't let it dry out completely. Rather than that, when it comes to the soil conditions, it's not really fuzzy. So it tolerates most of the soil conditions, and I think this is a lovely thing as well. If you just allow it to let it grow to its full size, it will grow between 2 and 3 meters in height and 1.5 to 2 meters in width, which I'm not going to allow it here. I think if it grows 1.5 to 2 meters in height, that is perfect. Now with the width, I need to see, because the area I'm quite flexible, I think, here. I never pruned it when it was on my balcony in Amsterdam, obviously. So here I'm just going to see how it goes. You should try and find an area that is a little bit protected, especially for the first years, as it is with a lot of the shrubs when they are still very young. And this is a quite well protected area, so I'm very confident that it is going to do very well in here. Already checked the root system because I've ordered these online. So whenever you order something online, obviously you can't check it. So it's kind of like, well, fingers crossed that the plant will be good, looking good. And it does. It has a lot of roots, kind of looking a little bit like spaghetti, and it is a little pot bound. So the roots started growing like really in a circle all the way around in the pot. This is how you call pot bound, when the roots are just like growing around its pot. So what I would do is just gently come in and tease them apart. I would not come in with a knife and cut or anything. I'm going to break some of these roots now. This is inevitable. This is what happens. But honestly, trust me, this is going to be better in the long run, because now if you do this, you actually encourage the shrub to come with new roots. Oh, I hear Alfie. Hello. Hello, girl. Let me just finish this one thing and then we play a little bit, because it's a beautiful day. So this looks nice. This shrub doesn't really have a front or a back, to be honest. Maybe this is the back because this is the longest stem, so I think I'm going to put it in like this. So when something grows outwards with the roots, you want to make sure that the planting hole is not necessarily so deep, but a little more wide. And this is what I what I've done here. So all I do now is, Alfie, I need to have a little moment here. Come in with just a little bit soil from underneath so it is planted dead level. Oh, there was a leaf from an aqualegia in there. And then I sprinkle in the organic bone chips as usual. And always make sure that it's planted dead level. A little more soil underneath. That is not really level. In it goes. Do you want to help me, right? Do you want to plant as well? I know you want to plant as well. In it goes. Going to remove the label. Because I don't like when labels are there. I try to keep, well, here I remember what it is. Normally I try to keep labels where I'm not really familiar with the plant. But here I definitely remember it. And since I ordered it online, I can always just go back into my order and see exactly what I actually bought here. So firm it in nicely all the way around. When you don't mulch, what you can do as well is create this little water ring around it. This is kind of like, your plant sits almost like in a donut, I would say. So you really just like elevate the soil around it. So when you water it, the water doesn't just rinse off on the sides. It really stays in there so it could sink in nicely naturally. But since I mulch everything, it is not really needed. I never do one of these like water rings. Yes, this looks nice, does it, right? Yep. You're just like, ooh, when you cut it, there's going to be a branch. Just put all the mulch back in there and I'm hoping for it to thrive very soon. It has first buds appearing, so I'm going to give you an update, obviously. Very excited about this one. So out of the 4 shrubs that I ordered online, this is the first one that is planted now. Right, that is the first one that is planted now. We're going to play now. And I hope that you had fun in today's video and also with these projects here. It was Little Planting Day. Tomorrow will be more planting on the way. I'm going to go to the garden center tonight because I bought one thing already, put it in the area where I think it should belong, and now I feel like I need a second thing, and this is exactly what I want to do. I just want to say thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have fun in today's video, and I would love to welcome you in my garden tomorrow again. Take care, guys. Bye.